Well, that's quite the force. You'll notice there are some ballistas over here, along with some bolts. Because you're probably thinking, oh man, do we have to fight through all of these things? Well, we can. Although we shouldn't. It's one of those things where it's like, well, you could. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good idea.
You dare challenge the might of my empire?
I just realized there's no way this LFR group is going to allow me to switch specs. Because I'm in my Mythic Plus AoE cleave build. And I'm going to want my single target build for the upcoming boss fight, which you may recognize. So this is a raid boss we have already encountered.
Thousands more will rise.
So you'll notice Ansarek is over there. Also, we have this big fellow over here. Shoot the thrill and... No, I'm sorry. Also... Oh my gosh, yep. Okay, so whoever is hosting this particular wing of LFR right now, whoever the instance leader is causing some lag on my part. Or my end, is what I meant to say. Now what's funny is that it's called the Ignition Mythic Plus build, but it's actually been updated recently. So we have a bunch of ads still coming in. But basically, the build has changed in recent times partly because of a fix, not necessarily a buff, but the fix does make it a buff. So recently, they actually made a few fixes to I-Beam where it wasn't working properly or benefiting from a couple things. And now because it's fixed, and it actually is, it's supposed to be a lot better now. So because of this, it's now been recommended...
Conspiracy is doomed.
According to the builds on Wowhead, that we don't use both Essence Break and Glaive Tempest, but rather we put points into Blind Fury. This is the new Ignition Mythic Plus build for Havoc right now.
I need to target something first.
And behold, the pinnacle of Nerubian evil tear you apart!
Of course, they immediately pull it. Huh. So yes, Rashanan. You guys remember this one, right? From the Dawnbreaker dungeon? You'll notice it is still at 60% health, which is where that fight ended in the dungeon. So this fight, honestly, is not that bad, especially for me. We're going to have to do a lot of running around, but as a Demon Hunter, that's not really a bad thing. What is a rather annoying bad thing, though, is the way that this fight works, and of course... Oh my gosh, no, no! Gosh, I love LFR Raiders. They're so great, they're so smart, they know exactly what to do. I'll bet some people here that have done the dungeon have no idea who this is, or don't even recognize who this is, because they probably were not even paying attention in the dungeon, or don't notice the same name.
Ravage!
It's really funny how, like, Blizzard goes through all this work and effort to try to actually make, you know, the narrative and the story and the characters actually mean something and be, like, more relevant and actually, like, matter. And no matter what they do, some players are just never going to care. No matter what they do, it's just never going to happen. So yeah, this is the part of the fight that's like, whoa, which is like, you gotta go there, and it just keeps on moving, and nobody... Okay. We almost missed that interrupt there.
Ravage! Rolling carnage!
Acid force.
Alright, this is the direction I'm supposed to go. See? The other person, though, did not move.
Brutal claw!
It really is just like, ugh, when I see some of these players do that. It's like, dude, do you really not pay attention?
Active devour!
Manifested spawn.
Like, sometimes that's all we ask, is that you actually pay attention to what's going on, so you can actually, like, be like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. But a lot of the times, players just are not either not paying attention, they don't care. Like, they're just turning their brains off and trying to DPS and not really caring about mechanics or paying attention, even though we need you to, you're supposed to, but no. That would be asking too much.
Erosive spray.
So one of the mechanics that you're supposed to do in this fight that's clearly not happening here in LFR is he's going to do basically a pull-off. What a shock. A mechanic where the boss actually pulls you off with webbing, right? There's plenty of that in this raid from numerous bosses.
Kick.
It's something you get very used to after a while. It's like, yeah, what a shock. Bosses in this raid using webbing? Like, I couldn't have imagined that happening. Now, what's funny is that I am certainly going to need this build in the next fight, but not right now. I guess I should go ahead and read the thing, even though it's probably very much. Twisted by Queen Ansorac's experiments, Rashanan was transformed from a proud Nerubian into a monstrous winged horror. Trapped within her new form, shattered memories of her former self drive Rashanan into an unquenchable rage. Alright, get that out.
Acid force.
Ravage!
Honestly, this fight is not that bad, even like on Heroic. We just did Heroic. We one-shot this thing on Heroic. And it's like, yeah, honestly, this boss is not that bad. As long as people do mechanics. There you go. Wonderful job. You guys are learning.
Ravage!
That might sound a little harsh, but anyone who has done LFR for a long time kind of knows that this is what it's like in LFR. LFR raiders basically become their own gag, their own joke.
Acid kick. Acidic eruption.
Gonna go ahead and do that. I waited because then once that happens, she goes to the next part.
Kick.
So somebody else now has to get that kick, which they do. Very good.
Brutal claw!
And yeah, so we finally finish off Rashanan. Huh. There's that neck. Huh. Cloth headpiece. Trinket, a strength one. And plate, and ooh! A rogue moth. That's a LFR tier piece. For me. But also for the others who actually need it, because I'm actually doing pretty well right now. I'm now up to 610 item level. I have my 4-piece. And I have a 606, at least a 606 in every slot here, so I'm doing pretty well right now. I don't actually need anything from this, from LFR. I'm doing this basically for the video.
I need to get closer.
So now basically the easy part of the raid is over. Those first 4 fights, I mean, I would say maybe the second one is the trickiest one because of the mechanics of having to soak the frontal, so you go deal with the ads. I would say that's probably like, of the first 4, that's probably like the trickiest or worst one. Unless you have issues with Sikran, which Sikran, if you don't do it right, it can get pretty bad. But if you're able to pull it off correctly, it's actually not that bad. We actually one-shot him in our first attempt at Heroic Sikran. Just like our first attempt at Heroic Rashanan. Because we were just able to do the mechanics properly and correctly. Now, this is where the fights get a little more crazy and hectic.
Your desiccated corpses will be a testament to any who oppose me. There is no need for us to entertain this filth any longer. The only thing that concerns us now is my ascension.
So yeah, apparently, she is preparing for her own ascension.
The Queen's inner sanctum is impenetrable, but her ego is not. Cause enough destruction and the Queen will deal with you herself.
So that's the reason why we have to now go to do these other bosses to get access to the penultimate boss. But we'll get there next week, or rather, I guess, technically tomorrow for me. I'm actually doing this on Monday night. I kept putting this one off, partly because I kept getting put into in-progress wings. I wanted to show you guys all 3 bosses of this wing. So I'm basically trying this on the Monday night before, even though I don't need to on this character. I actually need to do it on other characters. But I figured it would go smoother on this character, since of course this is the character I'm doing the playthrough on. Now again, pretend that I'm doing this when it comes to the playthrough. Okay, this room is going to get a little messy. Pretend that we are doing this before we do the... Because I know I showed you guys the Ansarek fight in story mode.
I don't have it.
But pretend we do that later. Also, you'll notice how messy this room is getting. Once again, Blizzard does this thing where they have the trash that you fight be a preview for what you're going to be dealing with when it comes to the mechanics of the upcoming boss fight. So that... So what just happened there?
I can't do that yet.
I got yeeted because the trash did that. Now that happened to somebody in our raid group. I'm just gonna affectionately refer to him as Conrad. Also, what is this? Glyph of Dread. Hold on. What is that? I actually don't recall seeing that before. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to repair. Gosh, I can feel the lag, and it's annoying me so much. Hi, Rashanan. You'll also notice that we get a Flight Master right here. So this unstable mixture right here, this is a great way to run to the place you need to go. You drink the potion, and then... Whee! It gives us 150% more movement speed. Now, I forget what this is. Oh, inscription. Okay, I'll have to try that out on my Warlock when I bring her here. But yeah, the other night, our buddy Conrad was talking to... Or no, I take that back. It wasn't Conrad. Oh my gosh, I got a BOE. I actually got a BOE in LFR. That's hilarious. I really hope that actually sells decently or gets me a decent amount of gold. So I apologize. It actually was not Conrad. It was actually Bull. Bull is his nickname in our guild. And he is one of our tanks, and he was getting yeeted by those things, and he was, like, kind of confused about it. And our radio head was like, yeah, that's what they do. You know, even if you, like, taunt or whatever, like, you can't really avoid it. So this next fight... Brood Twister Ovanax. Deep within the bowels of the Queen's Palace, Brood Twister Ovanax conducts abominable experiments with the black blood found in Aj Kahet. This corpulent horror lumbers through the palace's cavernous depths, regurgitating inky sludge onto hatchlings to observe its gruesome effects. So this is a massive, like, ad fight here in this big room here. Now, this is not what you're supposed to do. We are not supposed to fight him here. Usually you're supposed to go over there. And I'm very curious to see if Ovanax is going to just go straight there in just a moment here. Nope, never mind. Ovanax is going to this one because it's closer.
Ingest black blood.
So, Ovanax is basically causing that to empty out. So this whole portion of the room is going to get covered.
Dosage.
Oh, hold on. Ah! I'm going to just go ahead and do these eggs because they are standing at the same egg. That is not what you're supposed to do. So one of them should have gone over to this egg, and only one of them should have been over here.
Poison burst.
Now the reason you want to get these eggs open, like I said, you'll see that this is actually pouring this liquid out. When this reaches these, they will hatch, but they will be empowered. They will be much stronger. Those colossal spiders, even though they don't look like spiders because I have arachnophobia mode on,
Sanguine overflow.
are basically going to hit really hard. They're the ones that need to be tanked. The other ones are the ones that need to be controlled and DPS down.
Experimental dosage.
Again, I'm really like hoping that some of this is going to like prompt for some people and they're going to be like, oh, I need to destroy these eggs.
Ads.
Alright, those parasites are the ones that we actually need to... You also notice that one right there also needs to be focused and needs to be interrupted. Gosh, this lag is really messing with me right now. Oh! They pulled the boss to the stairs and reset it. Yeah, they reset the boss because they probably pulled it a little too close to the stairs. Oh my goodness, guys. Yeah, they think that's Blizzard's fault. No, that's because we tanked it right here and pulled it to the stairs. That's why it reset. Like, why are we tanking it in this first section here? You're supposed to do so over there. I need to stop expecting LFR raiders to actually, like... LFR players, excuse me, to actually know what they're doing. Like, really? LFR raiders actually know what they're doing? Puh-ha! Oh my gosh, the lag in this fight. I will say, it's not just that whoever server I'm on is causing lag. This fight alone is just like one of those fights that just causes you to have immense lag. Okay, so I have this. I'm going to go over here. No, never mind. Someone's going over there, so I'm just going to go over here to these eggs. Even though someone should also go there, but nope. No, someone decided not to go ahead and hatch that. Now, maybe that was my mistake. Maybe I was supposed to get that egg, but I was just like, okay, I saw two of them right here. I figured one of them would go to that there, and I would get this one, but nope. Nope, apparently not. Well, fortunately, this is LFR, so hopefully it won't be that bad. Someone needs to interrupt that. I guess I will myself. That should be getting interrupted by the range players, especially when it's this far away from the boss. Nope, no one's interrupting it. See? Now, that's what I'm talking about right there. You see that spider? It's empowered. Health is increased by 15%. That's what happens when that liquid hatches the eggs. This is why you need to hatch them before the liquid reaches them with that particular cast that the boss is making. Because if you let too many get out, they are too strong, and they're just going to straight up wipe the raid.
Better.
So in the Race to World First, this was basically the first actual wall in this raid, where the guilds were trying to figure out how to defeat this boss within the time window, which is basically 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes before this entire room gets covered, because this whole area is going to get covered up. You'll see this little triangle here, because you see the 3 different vials.
Dosage.
So the boss has this bar right here. When this bar reaches 100, the boss is then going to go to the next one.
Ads.
Why are there a bunch of ads over there hatching now? Who hatched the ones way over here?
Infest.
Like, seriously, what in the world? Who actually got this to happen? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and try and DPS this particular worm down, even though somebody should be helping me, like a range player, but apparently no one noticed that this thing actually got up. Or got hatched, apparently. Like, I'm over here by myself having DPS this down because nobody else is over here.
Ingest black poison burst.
Oh my gosh, what a mess. Thank goodness this is on LFR, where it's like, yeah, you can go ahead and make mistakes like this. It's not like they're actually going to, you know, be too much of a detriment, unless they're like certain mechanics that will absolutely just go ahead and wipe the raid. Again, why are they hatching the eggs over there? They should have hatched the eggs right there. But no, apparently not. I would imagine there are plenty of people here who have never even seen this fight because they either are not watching the race, or they haven't even touched the raid before, or didn't watch a single video, that they have no idea what's going on. They have no idea that... Alright, let's watch. Let's go ahead and watch this.
Caustic reaction.
There they are. And they have accelerated. More health and more movement speed. So they are now going to be even faster. So yeah. What a mess. What an absolute mess.
Experimental dosage.
Like, you'll notice that whole portion is now entirely covered. What's hilarious about this is if you look at the group, like, well, one tank was about to die. Again, why nobody is actually bothering to, like, focus these ads? There's another one back there. It's like, guys, what are you doing?
Ads.
Oh my gosh. If this was not LFR, this would be a wipe for sure. Because I assure you, these things are not hitting as hard as they are supposed to be. Because it's LFR. But if this was not LFR, these things would be absolutely crushing us, and it would be an absolute wipe. So the bar is about to reach 100, which means that Ovanax will then open this one here. I will say this, though. This is hilarious. Look at this. Look at the room. There's no more eggs. There are no more eggs. But now this is basically the DPS check portion here, because now we basically are trying to kill this boss before the rest of the entire room gets covered up. And this was part of the challenge as to why this was a wall, because... Okay, this is hilarious. Like, okay, destroy eggs. What eggs? There are no more eggs, so I'm just going to ignore this and just focus on the boss. Now, we have apparently lost a tank. And I'm just like, okay, no, never mind, we beat-res them. There were times I stopped DPSing and I'm still just, like, not... I'm doing pretty decently. But then again, I did bring one of these. Oh, hey, it's those mercurial egg trinkets. Okay.
Well done. The Queen is furious over the destruction of her experiments. Keep pushing.
I love how everyone passed on this. Oh, never mind. For a moment it said all passed. I'm like, no. I think that's supposed to be, like, actually a good trinket for, like, some other classes, like DK, I think I heard. Maybe even more. I'll have to check, see which classes actually care about that trinket. Because I don't. I don't even care about that trinket. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and swap to my single target build before the rest of the group just makes it where I can't. So this is basically the single target build. Even though I don't like having to put a point in this because it doesn't matter. Like, at one point do I ever have to use Spectral Sight at this point in a raid fight? Ever. The only reason I'm putting a point into this is to get to this. What I would love, though, is if I could put a point into this instead, but I can't because it's 2 points. Otherwise, it's literally a waste. Guys, we have to face this side of the room over here. There's no reason to go that way. We have to go this way, guys. Why are you fighting that trash? Okay.
It's too far away.
We're just going to go ahead and pull this because, nope.
I need to get closer.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me check. Do I have another high-powered... actually, not really. Looks like they're still in their AoE spec right now. That's why. They're still in their AoE spec for the trash. I'm not trusting this group to let me swap before the boss. See, you can do that in, like, an organized group, like when I'm waiting with my guild, because we will actually take the time to let ourselves swap to those different specs for the fights. I can't trust LFR players to do that. I love it when my stuns just don't work on certain characters because for some reason they're immune. It's like, why is this character in like this particular trash immune to my stuns? Why? Weaver's Loom. Tailoring. I may have to check with Dharma on what that actually does the next time we get in here. Be like, hey Dharma, what does this do? Like when you actually like activate it as a tailor, what does it do? Because I'm just very curious. Then again, I'll probably just bring my mage in here, who is a tailor, and just check myself.
I'm out of range.
A dark summon. Like, guys, hello? Does nobody else see this trash over here? Turn around. A lot of them are just running ahead. I'm like, guys, do you not see this thing behind us? Oh, gosh. Again, love LFR raiders. How just clueless they can be sometimes.
It's too far away. I'm out of range.
The guy was like, I'm gonna run ahead, and this ad was like, nope. Nope, you are not running ahead and ignoring me.
I infiltrated the Queen's court, Master. She suspects nothing. I was hoping our paths would cross. Just, you have seen too much, and I cannot leave any loose ends.
Welcome to one of the latest incredible world-first walls that I have ever seen.
My secret dies with you!
Nexus Princess Kaiveza arrived at Nerub-ar Palace only recently, quickly re-establishing herself as a confidant of Queen Ansarek. However, rumors abound within the inner court that she may harbor a dark and deadly secret. If discovered, the princess is prepared to dispatch all witnesses without mercy.
Nether Rift.
So,
Executed!
there's a number of nicknames for this particular boss.
I
Twilight
strike from
Massacre.
everywhere!
Some of which, of course, include, utilize the word suck. Because, as you saw, those portals that get spawned will suck us in a certain direction. Yes, I know what I said. But that's not even some of the best parts of this fight. Because you'll notice it's pulling us right now. And by the way, if you get pulled into those portals, you are dead.
Twilight!
Like, this is just... This lag is really messing up, like, my timing and just how I'm feeling right now. I'm like... Also, I'm trying to focus on talking, which is, like, taking away from my concentration of actually, like, focus on the fight. But I'm also wanting to let the fight kind of play out a bit. Just so I can show it off.
Gutted!
Oh gosh, oh gosh. See, that's how you're not supposed to put those portals.
Transition
Surrender
Night.
to the night!
It sucked me to a blue thingy! LFR players, everybody. Right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So,
Targeted.
you're seeing what's basically the easy version of this particular portion of the fight. Watching this in the Race to World First and watch Liquid have to deal with this and meet the check was insane. I've never seen a kill where you had to go down to just one tank just to meet the check.
3.
The DPS check that was required for this fight was insane. Because, yes, you're not just having to coordinate with the portals and everything. You don't have to put them...
Nether Rift.
Again, just watching... Oh gosh, oh gosh. Again, someone just stood there in the middle fighting the boss, not even realizing they were marked to put a portal there, and they just were like, what's this? I don't know what this is.
Twilight
strike from
Massacre.
everywhere.
Targeted.
That's how I imagine a lot of different, Wait, what is this?
Queen's Face.
Oh! That's what that was. I think that's the first time that's actually been cast on me.
Blade.
So you'll notice those lines, we have to dodge those. There's so much going on in this fight, which is what makes it incredible and absolutely insane.
Devouring dark.
And one of the first, like, true walls... I mentioned how Ovanax was a wall, but that took them about 120 pulls, I believe. Kaiveza took them 304 pulls to pull this off. To get every one of the mechanics down and coordinate perfectly, but also to make sure they stayed alive long enough to meet the DPS check, because it was that demanding that they absolutely had to have... Oh gosh, again, people are just leaving the portals right there because they are not even aware. It's really... Ah! They're not even aware about where that they have the portals that they're going to drop them. It's like, guys, stop dropping the portals right where we're fighting the boss. But they're just not even aware that that's what's going on, and they're just like, derp, 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 derp. I'm just trying to DPS the boss, derp, derp, derp. That's what I imagine is going through their minds if they're literally dropping it right there in the middle of the room where we're fighting the boss. At that point, you're either trolling or you are very clueless as to what's actually going on. Like, holy mackerel. And we are like a decent amount of time into this fight. You should understand and know what's going on at this point. Also, if you see those, clearly you're going to be dropping a portal, so that should make you go, oh, I'll get out of the room and make sure I put them on the outside so that it doesn't kill people.
Nether rift.
Although apparently there was still one that got dropped there? That's interesting.
Gutted!
Because I saw the ones on the people on the outside. I didn't see whoever it was that got marked for the one in the middle. That's very interesting. Is it not properly marking everyone that's going to be dropping a portal?
Cut to ribbons! You
It should be.
take my blade.
Oh gosh, oh gosh,
Nether.
oh gosh. Oh, this is bad.
Devouring dark-
Oh gosh, ah!
Executed.
Oh. Alright, that's my bad muscle memory coming into play there. Because I tried to click on another walk rather than hit H, and I just at times actually forget to move my finger over to hit H. Is that the best place I could have put it in terms of key bindings? No, absolutely not.
Nether rift.
Devouring darkness.
So, I'm going to have to be doing this fight quite a bit and farming this boss because she drops my Bis weapon, which are those blades. This is one thing I love cosmetically and aesthetically about this boss. Look at this. Look at her weapons. Does that remind you of anything? Certainly reminds me of the Protoss. In fact, this is the weapon that she drops, which is my Bis weapon. The Void Reaper's Warp Blade. I'm sorry, that just sounds like Zeratul to me. And I would love... It's my Bis weapon, but I just want it also because of the transmog, because...
None will be spared.
Okay, so here is the Hardened Rage. You see that? In every direction? That's the Hardened Rage. That's what means we took too long in this fight.
Nothing personal, just business.
Many deals for a friend.
Put that there.
Like you.
I mean, that's honestly what I think was killing a lot of people, is that we had too many portals right in the middle of the room where we were fighting the boss that ended up sucking people in and killing them. It's like, look, guys, just pay attention if you're going to get the portal and just drop it on the outside of the pentagon in the room, and we'll be fine. If you put too many of them on the same side of the room, it pulls you too much in that direction. But if you put an even number around the room, it basically just like they cancel each other out. It's like a vacuum where one just kind of like, if you have two vacuums but they're opposite each other, you're basically going to be stuck in the middle because they're both trying to pull you in those directions. But yeah, let's just say a lot of people have been having fun with the word suck when it comes to this boss. But you basically saw that Hardened Rage. That's what Liquid was having to try to beat on Mythic when it came to trying to meet the DPS check. That's why this is a massive DPS check, because as you saw, we have a lot to deal with and coordinate when it comes to mechanics, but we have to also meet the DPS check, otherwise she just does that and just kills everybody. Like, at that point, once you got to that time, which is about 6.5 minutes, that's when Liquid was having to pop their defensives and immunities, especially their immunities, just to try to get that last little tiny bit of percentage that they needed to kill the boss. But yeah, let's see if I can actually... So you can see, this is what the weapon looks like. I really want this because, again, it looks like a Protoss Warp Blade. Which is what it's called. It's a Void Reaper's Warp Blade. And, well, let's just say I see words Void Reaper and I think of Zeratul. And I'm like, if you're telling me I get to have these Psi Blades that the Protoss, especially Zeratul, had, or even Artanis, because these are the blue ones, if I get to, like, dual-wield Warp Psi Blades like Artanis it did in Legacy of the Void, I am down for that. Now that's how... I don't think it changes color based on difficulty. So it looks like they do not. They don't change appearance based on difficulty, which is a shame. Now here's the other cool thing about this weapon, and one of the reasons why it's it is my best weapon. It has lots of critical strike, but it also has this other cool thing. Equip. Your attacks have a high chance to apply Queen's Bane to your target, dealing shadow damage over 10 seconds. Now, Queen's Bane is actually a mechanic that she is putting on us right here. It's a dark venom fit for royalty, inflicting shadow damage every second for 9 seconds. The effect stacks.
3, 2, 1.
Marked for death.
Oh, great. We have another one right there. It's literally right there next to the boss. Why are we putting the portal right there next to the boss? Like, seriously, that's what's going to get a number of people killed.
Final Twilight.
Now, see, when I actually am focusing on the fight, you can see I can actually pop off. I know how to play Havoc.
You cannot escape my blade.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I know how to play Havoc decently. If you were to put me, like, side by side against some other really good Havoc players, like any of the ones that are playing the Racer World first, I'm not going to beat those guys. They obviously know what they're doing.
And pain.
I just like to think I'm a competent Havoc player. Now, I do credit that with some other tips from some other more well-known Havoc players, like Jedith. Jedith, I don't know if you had ever seen my videos, but I watch your videos quite often. They are very helpful to help me get better as a Havoc Demon Heart player, so thank you very much for your very helpful videos, not just for me, but for other things such as helping people understand how to get like better gear or do some other things better. You know, so some of my guildmates who don't play Havoc, they found your videos and they thought they were rather helpful, so thank you for that. You see this? I'm stuck here because the way those portals were dropped. And this is why how you drop the portal is extremely important. Now, there's something else about this fight I haven't talked about in terms of mechanics, which can be very nasty. And it's a execution mechanic. That's right. If you drop to, I think it was 10%?
Targeted.
So yeah. So Reaper, if you drop below 10% health, a shadow will emerge behind you and attempt to kill you. So yeah, that's rather nasty to deal with, and that's exactly the kind of thing that Liquid had to deal with when they were trying to get the Race to World first kill on this boss.
Marked for death.
Because when this boss is literally chunking you for like 80% of your health on certain hits, that's quite a nasty thing to deal with. Is that execution mechanic, right? When you think about it. I mean, wouldn't you think like that's kind of a like, oh gosh, that's just like rather nasty to deal with, right? I would think so.
Targeted.
Oh, this one's targeting me. Okay. Alright, so yeah, Queen's Bane is on me. So anyway, back to why the weapon is so good. So yeah, I'll get to actually apply that to my targets when I get this weapon. But that's not all. There's a trinket she drops, the contract. Your abilities, oh gosh. So you see these phantoms? Well, keep that in mind because it has to do with, okay, let me go ahead and pop my immunity here, which gives me movement speed so I can get away from her, because yikes. But this basically, yeah, it gives me agility, but it also has a high chance to summon those phantom ethereals, like what you're seeing there, to deal more shadow damage and amongst all enemies caught in its path. If it's below 35% health, it summons 2 additional ones. Now, if I have both the Warp Blade and the contract together, it then gives me a set bonus. It always summons additional phantoms against enemies that are afflicted by Queen's Bane. Now, it's not considered... Now, that doesn't make that contract trinket my best trinket, but it's still pretty good. Like, according to Wowhead, which is what we usually evaluate which trinkets are considered our best trinkets for our group, according to Wowhead, there are a couple of other trinkets that are better for me, that are considered BIS for me instead of the contract, even though the Warp Blade is considered BIS for me. But, I would think that, now, it says that even if you do get the Warp Blade, it doesn't all of a sudden vault it to being BIS for me. But I would think that if I don't have the other ones, that's still a really good alternative. So, like, the highest tier they have is S, and then you have S-. Well, the contract is an S- trinket for me, so it's still really good. And I would think that once I actually do get the Warp Blade, that it would all of a sudden become like a fantastic option for me. Alright, so it looks like we're going to kill her. Now watch what happens when we defeat her.
Another rift.
Exposing the ethereal has the Queen questioning everyone in her court.
Impressive. But did you believe you were fighting the real thing? I will leave the Queen to you. I get paid regardless. I will let your bounties grow before I collect. Until then, watch your back.
So Nizrek also said, the Queen has opened the inner sanctum to send her elite guards to kill you. As in the court. So that sets up us going to the court, which I will show you in the next one. Oh, the Warp Blade dropped! Oh my goodness! Huh, the transmitter. Interesting. Okay, I rolled a 16, lol. I'm guessing that Demon Hunter needs it more than I do. Because I do have 2 really good weapons on me right now. And I'm very curious. Oh, never mind, they left. Well, grats to Nessian DH for getting the LFR version of this weapon. Hopefully, when we are able to take this boss down in Heroic, I will be able to acquire it. But as you can see, when I am actually focusing on the fight, I can actually pump. Just saying. But, yeah, we don't actually kill her. Because apparently we didn't fight the real version of her, we just fought a phantasm version of her. She's an ethereal. So she was just able to be like, I'm out of here. And you know what? I'm gonna go... I like that she's like, I'm gonna let your bounties grow before I collect. As in, the bounties on our heads are just going to keep getting higher and higher the more we... I like that idea that we... At this point, our bounties should be immensely high. Think about what we have accomplished and how much of a bounty that would actually cause on us. I'm just saying. Right? But yeah, you're just seeing the LFR version. Go watch the race to the world first kill that Liquid got on this boss on Mythic and see how much more incredible and insane this fight is on Mythic, to see what they had to do to meet that DPS check. Because that boss's health on LFR, not that bad. On Mythic, it's about 7.5 billion. Yeah! Mm-hmm. So, pretty fun. Like I said, after Rashanan, this is where the raid really picks up, because it took them 304 pulls. Now, based on what I was seeing, if I was to pull up the streams right now of the Race to World First, so Echo and Method have also killed the Kaiveza there. So they're all on the next boss that I will be showing in the next wing of LFR, the Silken Court. And it looks like Liquid has actually been able to get that boss down to 9%. While both Echo and Method have it down to 50-ish%. But yeah. Some other guilds in the top 10 leaderboard are still stuck on this boss because, yeah, it's an insane check. Now, I'm sure it won't be as much starting tomorrow, because tomorrow's the reset, which means all those guilds that have progressed up to this point are going to have a couple of vault slots with myth track gear, which they're going to come back into this raid and re-clear with much better gear and just be able to absolutely, clobber the first 5 or 6. Or just the first 5, but where they can continue on the 6th boss. But for these other guilds, getting this boss down means they got their 3rd slot. At least for the characters who were in on all 6 of those kills. But when we return, we will be facing the top advisors for Queen Ansarek, Nerub-ar and Skyne Spinner Takaj, the Silken Court. Stay tuned for that.